Bob and Tom would kick our asses right now.
We are back. This is the Dirty Overhaul Rock Show. We're having a laugh at somebody's expense, by God.
Yeah.
And, by God. By the way, do you know Steve Arnold? But speaking of by God, do you know Steve
Mr.
Arnold?
Steve Arnold?
The drummer, Steve
Yeah,
Arnold?
yeah,
He was in my
yeah.
band.
What?
Yeah, we played together in a band called The Network.
Oh, man.
I didn't know. He never told us that. We told him we
Steve?
were.
Yeah, Steve Arnold, by God.
Yeah, drum rack Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Take
runs
4
sound
hours
for
to
us.
set his drums up.
Yeah, that's Steve.
I love Steve. He's
Oh, we
a hell
love
of a
him.
drummer, too.
Oh,
Hell of a
God.
drummer.
Yeah, he is. We were playing
jammed with
Crying
him.
in the Rain last night.
Yeah, we were doing some White Snake, Scorpions, all
There
this
you
other
go.
stuff.
Yeah, it was
yesterday.
me, a guy named Steve Wheeler who played with Bonnie Gringo, and some cats down. He's in Jacksonville now. Buzzy Meekins.
Oh yeah, bass
I know
player
that
was our
name.
bass player, and
with the was
Steve
he with
and
the
me.
Outlaws or Marshall Tucker?
He
something?
played with the
Marshall.
Allman Brothers for
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit, and played.
Wow.
He played with a bunch of people, and
Yeah, killer bass player.
great bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Steve, we
We've been begging. We got to get Steve because he is
Yeah.
Mr. Controversy. We want him on here. He'll talk shit about anybody. That's what we love about him.
Yeah, he don't care.
I'm sure he's got some stories about me. So
Oh
Hey,
well.
well, now we know.
Yeah,
that
now we're gonna hit
we're
him
gonna,
up. But
we're gonna.
let's get into one more thing. I got to
All right.
know this. Well, I got two more things, and
All
then
right.
hopefully Dave will finish it up. But hecklers. How do
Yeah.
you handle hecklers?
well,
And have you really had that big a problem? I guess you always.
I don't have too big a problem. I've had a couple where I've had to have people removed, but
Really?
I teach a comedy college where there's like 7 different kinds of hecklers, and you got to know which kind they are. There's people that are the alpha male or female of the group, either a wedding party or bachelor party. That it's all about me and my guy or me and my girl, and
Loud
there
ass women.
you kind of cut them off pretty quick and go pretty hard at them. You've got people that
Do you try to involve them, or you just try to?
no, I never
You
let
just
them
go
in.
right at it.
No,
Okay.
it's my show.
In our
Yeah.
business, it's totally
Yeah,
opposite. You
yeah.
got to try to get them in.
No.
And once you win them over, you got it.
no.
But
If
then it's
you're-
hard to
if
shut
you're-
'em
If
down.
you're interrupting my show, you're my bitch.
Okay,
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
I own you.
unless you're one of the people that are just having such a good time, you inadvertently blurt something out because you're caught in the moment.
Yeah.
And you can tell that type of person. They're shot. Like
Yeah.
if you come back at them, they don't say anything. So you let them go. There's other people.
Most time they'll make an ass out themselves.
There's other
right?
people that get so into the show they think that without them you can't do the show.
Right.
I've had I can't if I had a nickel for every time I said somebody came up to me and said it's a good thing I was in the audience because you would have had a good time.
You were.
And then I always say, where have you been for 31 years? How did I make it without you?
and what are you doing next week?
Yeah.
In addition to your material that you rehearse, that you go out there and you got to be on, do you find yourself, or did you used to find yourself rehearsing like, oh, that would be a great line if somebody wants to just be a big ass and I can just
I've
come
never
back
done
and
that.
or you
I've
just
actually-
completely ad-libbed
In
in the guy?
31 years, I've never rehearsed anything.
Wow.
Really?
I have a set that has evolved for my first 10 to 15 years. I had a very rigid outline that I went to and I stuck with. I still have the outline of what I want to talk about and how I'm going to get from point A to point B, with segues and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the liberating part after doing it for so many years is I don't want to rehearse anything. I just want to go up there, drink beer, do some shots, make some stuff up,
Right.
and let the magic happen.
Yeah.
So I have not rehearsed or watched myself in a mirror. I've never watched myself
At
in a mirror.
31, at 31 years, you shouldn't have to.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
I call it being bulletproof. And what that is, and that happened my 17th year, and I've told young comics, you'll know when you become bulletproof. It only happens on stage, and it's like an out-of-body experience where this confidence level, it's like you're pushing the envelope, finally you break through, and it's just,
Right.
and it's just, you're just kind of, I've had guys call me up in the middle of the night saying, it happened. Cause,
I got it.
Because you know when it happens.
Right.
And there is not a single situation after 31 years that I will not be able to handle. I've had a guy have a heart attack in the middle of my show, and the
What a
EMTs come in
Told
and
a
work
good
on him, 3 rows front center.
And you're still
And-
going.
No, I didn't know.
no, you had to
I
stop.
wasn't going. That's unfortunate. Hey, here's a dick joke.
Hey, did he pay?
Yeah.
Is he already paid to get in?
Yeah, somebody had too much milk and butter. Okay. No, I stopped. But
That would be an Andrew Dice Clay show.
Here was the weird part: is after they got him on the gurney and wheeled him out,
Yeah.
the club owner goes, start it up again.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I did. And it took a little while. I stayed
Oh,
away
my
from
God.
bacon jokes, and heart jokes. But
Wow.
but I dealt with it. We ended up having a great time. And
Wow.
and it's the same thing with like the Carlin story. He's so good. Not that I'm a Carlin by any means, but after you do it long enough,
it's second
that
nature.
you've pretty much handled everything that's going to come down the pike.
Now,
Kinda
I
like
remember
playing Walk This Way for the 5,000th time. You kind of know you got it, right?
I remember we were talking to Todd from Black Glass, and I think you asked him if we still my phone. You asked him if he still got nervous, and he said, "Yeah, the first set." And then after the first set, he was good. And I had somebody ask me pretty much the same question before we asked him that, and I said, "No, the only time I'm nervous is when I'm not on stage, if that makes any sense. I mean, it's like I have this, I don't know, this gravitational pull to get up there, and then I feel odd when I'm not up there.
Right.
And then when I get up there, I'm in the zone.
Butterflies, whether it's music or comedy, I get the butterflies before the show because it's more an adrenaline rush where I'm ready to go.
Right.
And then when I get on stage, it's not that I'm nervous and worried about not playing well. It's calming the nerves.
Want to get started,
so I can play as good as possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a lead guitar player, I play some lead, mostly rhythm, and my leads are simple compared to like a Jimmy or whatever. They're not.
Well, Jimmy's leads are simple compared to Jimmy.
Actually, Jimmy's simple compared to Jimmy. But I love Jimmy, and he's a hell of a player.
Oh, yeah.
But when I get up there, I just want to be able to rein in the excitement of playing so I can hit my licks.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a question of not feeling that I'm capable.
Yeah.
It's I want to get control of my emotions and focus it into the music.
Sure. Great answer.
Same thing comedically, too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's now, do you find, now is the feeling the same before you take the stage for comedy versus music, or you find
It's completely different.
Yeah.
What's really cool is now that I'm kind of reborn into the music.
Ooh, reborn.
Coming back after
This is
31
not a religious
years-
experience, by the way.
31 years of doing comedy. It's like new, and I'm playing with my bandmates, and I'm looking across at Hootie playing bass, and he's giving me a Cheshire Cat grin, and it's like, isn't this cool? And now I've got 3 other guys to share it with. So the feeling is completely different. I feel a true release of happiness when I am in the moment of playing music.
Yeah.
When I'm in the moment of comedy, I'm more focused at making other people feel the happiness.
Well, there's
and
more.
I'm performing, and it's gratifying to hear the laughter.
Yeah.
But you can't really appreciate what you did comedically until after the show when you realize, I just made 1,500 people laugh at the same
Exactly.
time. You know, so.
Yeah, because when you're up on stage doing comedy, it's you. If a joke
It's
doesn't go
it's
over, it's
super personal.
you. And when you're on stage with a bunch of guys, you're sharing the whole thing. Yeah,
It's a collaboration.
Sure, exactly.
And so, like we were talking, the guys were talking. We're starting to have more and more of these on stage where we hit this. It's like a nirvana that it can come in the middle of any song we've done before, we kind of hit this groove where we're all like somebody turned on a switch and we're all thinking the exact same way.
Right.
And you're hearing it put into practice, and man, that is just like woo. And with comedy, sometimes you do that with yourself, but you're so in tune to popping it out there, you miss it. And that's why I say it's not till like after the show where you're going, oh man, when I said that, holy smokes, that was killer.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you're just so in the moment comedically that you're unaware of it. You're aware of it, but not as acutely musically because you have a little bit more leeway.
Right. That's cool.
It's good.
I wanted to ask you too. We spoke about this, and then I've got a question here. Somebody wants. Well, let's go ahead and do the question first. Mr. Brian Meyer wants to know about how when you used to be a VJ on WLX.
TV 61.
WLX.
That's going back.
At a local radio.
God, he must have been a fetus when that happened. I was one of the first VJs in the country actually before MTV got super popular, before they got their set guys, there were all these little VJ stations. MTV had just started up, and then these little offshoots came, and I was one of the VJs.
Wow, that's cool.
And we were actually, when Time Warner started to want to charge MTV per video or something like that, and
Wow.
they were bucking the system. Time Warner came out across the country to find these little stations to see if they'd be interested in picking up, where they were going to like drop MTV, from what I heard.
Yeah.
But they came out to our station, and here's the funny part: we were just this little hole in the wall place where the guy in front of you, who was on the shift before you, when he was done, he would walk behind the camera, white balance you, square you up, and then he'd leave, and then you were in the studio by yourself. and
You're like, here's the new one. This is Hocus
so
Pocus.
here was the problem. Our station was in Greensboro, our tower was in Kernersville, and our technician lived in Hickory. So if the tower ever went down, it took the technician about 3 hours to get to Kernersville, and
Wow.
then get back to the station to
Right.
push all the buttons. Well, it just so happens that, and we were on 24 hours a day, and when the Time Warner people came to give us a look-see, we were off air 24 out of the 27 hours.
Jeez Louise.
But it was funny. We weren't. We didn't know what we were
Well,
doing.
who knows? It could have.
I did stuff like the cool thing was I had a like a desk with a board and a fader switch, and I could actually fade myself in and out of videos like a ghost. Like you'd see me kind of hovering, and then you wouldn't see me, and then I'd flip it, and it's just me in the studio, and I do all this weird stuff, And I found the video to Rocky Horror Picture Show, The Time Warp, and so I said I want to do something really cool with it. It started off just I'd play it and people would warp out at home. It was called we'd warp out at 3:00, and when they'd go, it's just a jump to the left. I'd be standing up on the board, basically in the desk, and they'd go, it's just a jump to the left, and I'd kick the switch, and it would be me, and I'd jump to the left. Well, it got fairly popular, and one day I was going through this closet of the production guys, and there was this huge lamp shade, like a light socket shade that looked like one of those helmets that Devo wore, sort of, but it was even bigger. It was almost like a Japanese type of garden hat, but it was it was
like
for
you were in the
it
Vietcong.
had a socket in it for a light and a cable. So yeah, and so I came with the cable around my chin and fastened to the top. So now I had a helmet. I always wore Ray-Bans, and I had them.
Oh God!
And I went home and I got a tuxedo tail with a white shirt and a bow tie, and I looked like I was part of the video and the movie. So now when it's just a jump to the left, I'd flip the switch, and there I was in all my regalia. And then sometimes I'd like kind of phase myself in, so it just looked like I was sort of in line with everybody, but not. I was there, but I wasn't there.
Right.
I'm going to tell you the power of the medium of TV. I had two of my finest moments at TV 61. One was, it was Mother's Day, and I came in and I was hungover like you wouldn't believe, in a miserable state of mind. I had the 10 to 3 slot, and I was wearing my Detroit Tiger hat, my Ray-Bans, and a Hawaiian shirt that was nothing but bunches of bananas. Extremely effeminate looking shirt.
You were a Hollywood fashion plate.
And now we had an in-studio phone, but it wasn't on a delay. It was live. What you heard is what you got. And I'm having this great time, but I'm hungover, and this guy calls in and says that my shirt makes me look like a faggot.
Oh my God!
And normally that wouldn't even faze me.
Right,
I just play
right.
with it. But I was hungover, and I said, "It's Mother's Day, and my mother bought this shirt for me." She didn't, but I
Yeah.
So I started to sing. I
bad.
said, "People in my viewing audience, this guy basically called my mother an idiot for buying me a shirt, and he thinks that I'm gay." And people started calling up, "You're not gay, Todd. We love you. You're not gay. You did me last week." It was all these calls. And I said, "I'm going to tell you what. You think I'm gay, dude?" I said, I get off at 3 o'clock. Why don't you come out to the studio? I gave the address. I said, and I'll kick your ass. We'll see who's gay. And so I started getting phone. I'll kick his ass. I'll go to gun. Let's do this. I'll bring the beers. And then it kind of died down, and I didn't think anything more of it. This happened at about 11 o'clock. That
Don't
morning.
tell me he was waiting.
I had not been outside the studio. I hadn't been outside of the room that I was. I had everything I needed in there. I didn't even go outside to pee, to the bathroom. Well, it's time for my shift to end, and the guy who's following me comes in with this pitcher of pina coladas. And he's going, have you seen the parking lot? And I'm going, what are you talking about? I go, dude, they're tailgating waiting for the fight. I shit you not. I go out the front door, and the parking lot is covered with people. It's like Rocky just showed up. And people are like, oh! They're across the street. At that time was the DMV where you get your license, driver's license. And I'm standing there, and people are adorning me with, girls are coming up and kissing me. Kick his ass. The best part about it, a royal blue 1971 Monte Carlo with a black vinyl top. How did I remember that? This is how I remembered it. The windows were down, and this girl leaned out of the windows with the largest rack I've ever seen, natural, swinging in the breeze, shaking it at me, going, kick his ass, Todd, and you can have either one of these.
Oh, man.
Well,
Why
needless
don't
to
they
say,
have
the guy never showed up. But it
Thank God.
showed you the power of the medium of TV. But the best thing I ever did was the way I left the station. It was owned by a guy who his checks were bouncing. And we knew that he was looking to sell the station, and the chances are my check wasn't going to clear either. And at that time, I needed the money. Now, in the studio, we had a 6-cart tape machine for 6 videos.
Yeah.
And they'd play consecutively, so you could put in 6 carts, including commercials, and just go have a smoke, whatever you wanted to do. Well, when I found out that my check wasn't going to clear, the first thing I did was I had a guy just work the cart machine. I went to the bank to make sure it cleared, which it did, so I cashed it. I come back to the studio, and I did my sign-off broadcast because I knew that we weren't going to have jobs that coming Monday. I think this was a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And the video that I had was "Take This Job and Shove It" by Johnny Paycheck, and I put it in. I put it in the top cart, and nothing in the following 5 carts. Now, if there's nothing in the following
It'll
5,
just repeat, right?
It just keeps going on and on.
Yeah.
So there was a place on Tate Street. I think it was called Suds and Duds. It might not have been Tate Street. It might have been that one street down from Spring Garden, runs parallel with where the Blind Tiger used to be. But there was a place across the street called Suds and Duds where you could go do your laundry, drink beer, and they had TVs and
What
watch
a great
No, it was
idea.
killer.
Yeah,
It was
Suds
killer.
and
I did my
Duds.
clothes there all the time. Sometimes I didn't even do clothes. I just drank beer.
drink.
But I left the station. I walked out of the building. The only person there was the receptionist. She saw me walk. I didn't even say goodbye because she was in cahoots with the owner anyway. She was part of the problem. And I just left, and she's just like looking, and then goes back to her business. I was at Suds and Duds for an hour and a half, and Johnny Paycheck was still playing. I had been gone for an hour and a half, and nobody knew that I wasn't in there. That's how poor the station was run. And so, yeah, there you go. And people are, at Suds and Duds, they're laughing and dying, and having a ball. And I'm laughing. I'm going, I can't believe. So they finally call in a sales guy or whatever from the road, and he comes in, and all of a sudden the screen goes to, white noise, black and white squigglies, and it's off for like maybe like a minute, and then it comes on again. He just pushed the cart back in, so it started all over again. But the News and Record wrote me up about how I left and how I did that.
I thought you were going to do the old microphone drop and then walk
Well,
out.
what I did was I actually went on air, and I said to all my loyal fans, thank you so much for your viewing. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've loved walking, warping out and having a good time, and but I just can't go on because we find out we're probably not going to have jobs Monday. So for so-and-so who was the owner, I said, all I can say to you is this, and I flipped the switch, and the thing came on, and I stood up And I saluted and I walked out. And that's what
Thank
I did.
you,
And
John.
that's what it was, man. It was just, it
Awesome.
was great. It was one of the most gratifying things professionally I've ever done.
I think everybody should get to do that at least once in their
you
life
bet
where
your
they get to
ass.
walk
Oh,
off.
man,
and
it was phenomenal. Yeah.
hopefully, when I win the lottery, I'm just going to take a dump on my boss's, desk.
There you go, man. So anyway,
I left you a gift in there, boss.
we're doing music now, and the Time Flyers will be next, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, the 26th. We're at the Green Heron up in Danbury. It's a
Okay.
nice little club. We're going to be on the 29th at Sherry's of November. The 30th will be at After Hours.
Hopefully, we'll get to check that out.
We're a couple of places the week before that, but go to Facebook. .com/the Time Flyers, and that'll tell you where we're going to be. And
That's going to be awesome, man. I can't
we
wait.
should do a gig together, man.
That would be
Let
cool.
us know, man.
And just
We'd love
kinda-
And then when we
You
get
know-
done playing, you can walk up and goes, "Nice shirt." Now that's a big.
But
That's
yeah,
a boomerang
I mean,
call.
that would kind of be culture shock for the stuff that we do, but we basically cover every base of what anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
wants.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. It's all
Because
out
we're
there.
not just fluff too. We got a couple of kick-ass tunes. I
That's
mean,
cool.
quite a few kick-ass tunes that might surprise you a little bit because we
I'd like.
throw it down.
I'd
Well,
like
I
to.
mean, I've always heard about when you used to go up to Conley's and play, and everybody was bragging about what a great performer you were in music. And I was like, I never got to see that.
Yeah,
I
well-
saw the comedy, but I never got to see.
Well, let's
that.
do it, man. Let's make it happen.
All right.
I want to hear this one.
I've got to keep control.
Walk this way.
And with that, we're going to say goodbye to Mr. Todd.
Loved
Yohn.
it, guys. We'll
And
do it
thank
again
him so
sometime.
much.
Yeah, have
Let's go
to.
get a beer, man.
Let's do it.
Two of them. That was fantastic.
That was awesome. And it looks like we're going to warp on out of here.
Yeah, we're going to do the time warp once again.
We've got to do this song. We get to Todd up on stage.
I'd love to.
But this is the Dirty Overhaul Rock Show. We're going to be coming back at you. Probably the next time we do a next show is probably going to be at After Hours, come to think
Oh,
of it.
yeah. We also have the big Halloween bash. We're going to be broadcasting
That's
live
right.
from there.
On the 25th, Brian and Susie's big Halloween festival.
Oh, we're at the Vanishing Point in Mount Airy Halloween, so if you don't want to go there, come here.
Now, what are you doing? What are you doing on the? Are you playing the 25th or?
The 26th, we're playing at the Green.
Well, you
Oh,
should
the
come out to the
25th?
Halloween party.
Yeah, we
then.
got a big party. Everybody's going.
On
There's
the
going to be 3 or
25th?
4
Yeah.
bands. Yeah.
That's a Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Friday.
come out.
Free beer.
Can you put
4
me on the
bands.
list?
1,500 shots they made the other
Can
night
you
of
put me
Jello.
on the list? Get me in?
That's
Can I
not
Yeah,
a problem.
yeah, it's not a problem at all.
All right.
We're going to be
Guys
there
always
doing
have the
them
open door
remote.
with
Just call it.
flyers.
Yeah, you can go with us.
Definitely.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Meet up here. We'll slide on down there.
Sounds good.
All right. Well,
All
let's
right.
go get some pictures, and we'll see you guys later on, and see Todd down the road. Go out and support his band, the Time Flyers.
That's
Go
right.
on YouTube, check out his comedy. Great guy, great
Now,
interview.
do you have a YouTube channel where they can subscribe to or anything like that?
Not yet. We're going to do that.
Okay.
We're in the we're in the process of going into the studio so we can put our originals out there so people can.
And as soon as you get it up, let us know, and
we'll do it.
we'll
I'll
put
come
it
back
up.
on.
Yeah,
We'll do it again.
definitely. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, and this has been Mr. Todd Yohn in studio with Dirty Dave and Brian Hall. This has been the Dirty Overhaul Rock Show.
Cool, brothers.
That was a pretty good question. Bob and Tom would kick our asses right now.